So today, I intend to use mathematical formulas, concepts, and expressions to tell a story in the Bible. I intend to use lyrical gymnastics with mathematical linguistics to explain a parable without doing what I term as a change of subject. So once upon a time, there lived a boy who was born in the realm of multiplication and addition. He was dwelling in a realm that knew no reduction, deduction, or subtraction, as long as he kept abiding with his father's instruction. He was dwelling in a realm where everything was a probability and not an impossibility, because his father was the creator of all possibilities and all positivities. Until one day, this boy confronted his father and asked him to divide a proper fraction of his property according to simple ratio and proportion, so that he can now take a portion of that proportion away from the surface area of his father's circumference, and now be able to take his own bearings according to his own volition and his own influence. But little did he know that efficiency without God's sufficiency is an automatic deficiency. Little did he know that a vision will always be prone to division when that vision lack provision, like submission and supervision. And so the father made many attempts to reach out to his son, knowing by logical reasoning that the path chosen by his son was a standard deviation away from the normal, and that all his efforts will end in a cos 90. But again, he realized that no amount of statistics was enough to change the mode and frequency at which his son was deviating from the normal. So he divided a proper fraction of his property, and his son moved to a faraway country. There he began to differentiate himself from his elements and his own identity. He began to integrate himself into a society where everyone saw him as a useless non-entity. He became valueless. He became an absolute zero. And just like any figure without a denominator, he became undefined. As undefined as he was deprived to live and operate in a standard form. Until one day, this boy said to himself that instead of him to give an expression to a life that was so undefined, he would rather go back to his father, ask for forgiveness, and begin it all from square one. And as the father began to calculate the steps of his son from afar, as the father began to sense his rigid motions from afar, he began to run towards the child and made him not just a remainder to just a number, but rather a member of his chosen number. It does not matter how far you have gone astray. It does not matter how much of the Father's possession you have taken away. It does not matter how long you have kept trying to figure out your way. The Lord is coming your way today, and he's saying that please come back and stay. This is a story of a boy who moved out of his father's protection, who left with his father's possession, lived a life of solitude and perversion, became poorer and catered for pigs as a profession, and has now come to the realization, after a sober reflection, that his life needed a redirection and his soul needed a resurrection. Remember your Creator in your days, until the time where there will be no hope and time for men to cope. And so be still and know that he is God. This is not a sermon. I am not a preacher. This is not a lesson. I am not a teacher. This is just a message, for I am just a messenger. Yours truly, Efudela. Thank you very much.